Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Elizabeth DeRazio, your host. Our Abby Peel has had a chance to head downstairs here and meet with and see the applied craftsmanship of their talented staff. Abby?
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from a sneak peek place here at MJ Harrington Jewelers. We're down here in the shop and we get to talk to one of the jewelers down here. I'm joined by Kenny Bergeron, who's one of the bench jewelers down here. Talk about what we're looking at and kind of your workspace here.
Okay. Well, what we're looking at here, this is our scope, and I use this for all the stone setting. And it's kind of cool to be able to get close and kind of see every little detail where you got to file away and make sure that stone sits just right.
Okay.
Then you have a little torch set up over here. This is for doing all your soldering.
Okay.
But then this bench right here will do all filing and sawing and sanding, kind of clean it all up, and then we can go over different steps as well over in the corner here and do the rest of the stuff, which would be polishing it up and doing a final polish.
Amazing. And are you everything from repairs and to creating something brand new? What's the process? How do people start that?
Well, it's really, sometimes people just come in and they'll say, I would like to design something. So a lot of people know beforehand that we do that. Some people don't, so we advertise, you know, that stuff in the papers. But it starts as a nice little sit down, and you know, I get to know the customer and we have a little back and forth. And then they'll approve the sketches, and we'll get a little, you know, price range and all that for them. But they're usually involved like quite a few steps in the process. And then every once in a while, what I'll do is I'll send them like a couple pictures here and there. This is the progress so far.
Cool.
And doing that, and they love that. They have that little bit of input.
Sure.
And it's really fun. So they'll do that whole design, and then later on they'll come back and we'll see the final piece and pick it up. And
really cool that you're part of that whole process.
Yeah, it is really cool. I mean, quite a few where they love to keep the stones, and we'll remelt the gold and make something brand new out of it, and so it's still every little bit theirs. And all we did was just the process of making it something different.
Yeah, so cool.
It all starts right there.
So someone's designed that, and now you're making it come to life.
Yep. And we all kind of have different things that we do, like that our own design sense like brings us to. So
sure.
So there's those kind of things. I mean, I generally go more contemporary and a little cleaner. Look. Tom Armstrong upstairs, he's another jeweler designer here. You know, he's a little more traditional. He has more of a watchmaking background.
Cool.
You know, Kenny also does very contemporary, clean looking stuff, you know, a lot of things like that.
Sure.
So it's a lot of fun.
You talk about some of the things that you use regularly, tools, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the benches are somewhat the same. I mean, we all kind of have our own, modify it to fit our own style, but for the most part, you know, you have a pin, and there's this distance here between the drawer to catch all of the sweeps that we call them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the remnants, yep.
Torch, you know, talking about custom work, I'm just getting ready to melt some of customers' old metal here and pour an ingot, and then roll that out and make some rings from that.
And make one thing out of all of those?
Well, I'm going to make 2 rings. We'll see. Hopefully there'll be enough metal there.
Okay,
We'll see. We have laser welder, which is kind of an interesting device.
Yeah.
It's a yttrium aluminum garnet crystal that's in there, and it's basically, it is just a laser, and it just melts little tiny pieces of metal.
Fascinating.
So it makes certain things very easy, you know, easier than it used to be. It's easy to tack stuff together and get ready to solder then.
How many projects do you have going at once? Are you working on one thing and wait till it's done to move on to the next? Do you have multiple going at one time?
I probably will have 2 or 3 of them going at one time.
Okay.
And then as I'm moving along, I'll go over here to the polishing and polish up some of them and get them cleaning.
Sure.
You know, or I'll have to put them into the sonic cleaner beforehand, you know, to get them cleaned up enough to work on.
Okay, and people are waiting to hear from you. What's the status of my project,
people you get a lot of calls, people asking about their...
Yeah. Talk about working here at MJ Harrington's. I mean, you've been here a while, and you've clearly been a staple here for a long time.
Well, it's really a lot of fun, you know. Some jewelry shops are different, but we kind of deal with everything, you know, restorations and repairs and all kinds of stuff. And because of my metalsmithing background, we do a lot of like hollowware and teapots and, you know, candlesticks and things like that as well. We had someone bring in a big bronze sculpture one time that they needed a little piece repaired on.
No, and you can do that?
Sometimes, it depends, you know.
All right, we won't market it too much.
Depends on what tools we would need to do it, you know. But we are set up mainly for jewelry, for smaller work.
Sure.
So some of the bigger stuff can be a little tough.
I have to say, one of the things about MJ Harrington's is I've never heard David or anyone here say no. He always says, let me look to see if we can do it. And I think that's really interesting. And also talking to your point of what people have brought in before, you wouldn't think to bring in something like that, but you kind of make it happen here.
When Dave's dad owned the place, I was working here. Actually, someone brought in a carburetor from an old tractor for me to work on.
No way. All right. Little small engine shop, too.
Right,
How about that? Have you ever been out in public and seen somebody, a necklace, ring, earrings, and been like, oh, I designed that?
Yeah, in fact, you know, when I do the Craftsman show, I have people come into my booth and say, "Oh, look, you made this for me," you know, or wearing the pendant, you know.
Very
that I made 'em.
cool.
You know, it's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, that's like a big pat on the back for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's so great to see the behind-the-scenes aspect of this. I myself have had jewelry repaired here, and I never knew what it looked like to have it down here, but it's really fun to see how this all operates, and your craft is really incredible. So thank you for telling me all about it.
Thank you.
Nicely done, gents. These guys are all highly trained and talented goldsmiths. They work right here on site and are proficient in a wide array of jewelry repair services, as well as custom designs. When we return, we'll get a wrap-up of this year's duck drop raising funds for the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. But first, keep on watching your Yankee Chronicle as we hear from another of the fine businesses that are involved in making this show happen for you.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.